Here's a very good question, Anita. How can you tell that all your past traumas are healed? That's easy, very easy. When you stop getting triggered, when nothing bothers you anymore, particularly from the external world, that's when you know you healed. So you have to go through all your triggers. That's the easiest way. I mean, there's shadow work, there's journaling, there's hypnosis, there's all kinds of techniques that you can use in order to heal your traumas. But to begin with, you identify, if you just get started, you identify your triggers. So every single day of your life, whoever you meet, if they trigger you, if they say something, if they do something that make you feel in a certain way that you're not quite copacetic with, if you feel some kind of energetic charge, that's a trigger. And once you identify that trigger, you have to go back into your memory lane, into your bank of memories, and find the moment, the oldest moment, when you were hopefully a child, when you felt the exact same way, the way that trigger made you feel. And that's when you identified your trauma. And when you identified it, you can heal it on the spot. As Carl Jung once said, until we bring the subconscious into the conscious, it will run our life and we will call it fate. And what is the subconscious? Everything that we hold as memory, all our beliefs, all our traumas, all our limitations, all our fears, everything is stored in our conscious mind. In the right hemisphere of the brain is where the conscious mind is. We actually operate consciously only 5 to 10% of our mind, which is the conscious mind. The rest of our life is guided directly by our subconscious mind without us realizing. So if you find yourself, let's say, repeating the same types of relationships. So let's say you find yourself with a person who eventually cools off and, they leave you. And suddenly you feel like you've been abandoned. And then there's another relationship that has the same outcome and another relationship that has the same outcome. Chances are that the reason why you are attracting people who abandon you is because somewhere in your subconscious mind you are holding the abandonment trauma, the belief that you are to be abandoned. And your subconscious is attracting the same type of people you had in your childhood, because this abandonment trauma comes from your parents and your caregivers. It doesn't mean that they abandoned you on the side of the road. It means that simply they didn't give you the love and attention that you desired, and your mind as a child interpreted it as abandonment. There's certain moments, there's certain incidents that happen when you interpreted it wrong without realizing that that's not true. They didn't really abandon you. They did the best they could, right? But because of that, the subconscious mind is going to continue to attract the same types of people because it needs to get healed. It needs for that limiting belief to be healed, because you are going to, when you have this kind of experience as a child, you're going to end up one of those people who are people pleasers, who are bending backwards for others, who are trying to make everybody else happy around you and leave yourself second, who say yes when you really want to say no and all that stuff. But you do it because you want to finally receive that love, that approval, that appreciation that you didn't get as a child. So it's an automatic thing. We don't do it intentionally. And the thing is that once we identify this belief, we can't heal it at conscious level. So we can't just say, okay, that's it, I'm getting rid of this belief. We can't just say that. Any subconscious beliefs must be healed at subconscious level, not at conscious level. So this is the journey that we're all embarking. This is really the whole meaning of everything. The final outcome of this whole journey here on earth is for us to purify our souls. If you go in and look on the on the hieroglyphs, on the Egyptian temples, you will see that the idea back then was that when you're ready to meet your maker, when you're ready to awaken to the truth of who you are, that you are an eternal divine being, in that moment you go through your shadow work and you have your death, the death of who you were. It's not a physical death, it's really a mental spiritual death, although it's physical too, because we die every single day, every few seconds our cells are reborn, right? So we're not the same people we hung out with 5 minutes ago when we started the video. So we're constantly changing. But this is the journey for us to return to source, to return to the purity of our soul. And in the Egyptian temples, you will see these illustrated with the god of the underworld, Anubis, who's presenting the initiate, which would be you, ourselves, on this journey of initiating ourselves through the mystery school of life. They are presenting it with a scale, and on this scale, the initiate must place their heart. At the end of the journey, if your heart weighs as much as a feather, then you are healed. And this is the whole purpose of the journey. Yes, that's why there's drug use. Absolutely, absolutely. We're trying to get away from ourselves when we're using all of these, alcohol and drugs and cigarettes and sex. Let me make sure that I'm not using this word on a live. All of this stuff. Basically, what we're doing is we're trying to run away from ourselves. We're trying to not look within, because looking within requires your mind to be clear, your mind to be very discerning as to the emotions that we have, the feelings that we have, the interpretations that we have. I love your hair. It looks like a lotus flower. I'm a hairdresser. Thank you, Ladida. Ladida, what a beautiful name. Thank you. I love it. I'm cutting it myself. You might not even believe me, but I actually cut it myself. You know why I meet people that I look like some other person? I know some exactly energy and manners. You know why I meet people that look like some other person? I know same exact energy and mannerism. Maybe there's some kind of a message for you in there. Maybe you're supposed to look at those things and understand there's something about yourself. Because at the end of the day, the entire world, it's nothing but our mirror. We're all pushed out. I keep meeting women who come from toxic relationships and single mothers. Well, that's abandonment. That's abandonment trauma. So basically, these women grow up with codependency issues. I don't know if you want to call them toxic. I think we're all eventually toxic to each other at times in relationships. And actually, this is a good thing, because the reason why we come in each other's lives is to trigger each other. So then we can finally say, I am done with this. I don't want this in my life. There's something that I need to do to change. Because if I keep on repeating and doing the same thing again and again and again, and expect different results, as Einstein would say, that's insanity. So this is what happens. They come into your life, and even for yourself. You meet them for a reason. They come in to show you something about yourself. Well, it's not just that you want to make a distance from the person, to keep that person at a distance. Yeah, it's do not hang out with a person who has no interest in healing, or it's not on the path of healing or anything like that, because they will basically continue to be triggered and react, trigger and react, trigger and react. They will never try to heal while you're with them, because you guys already have this pattern, unless you are in a very, very good, steady relationship and you come together and you decide, hey, let's heal and let's make this relationship better. But other than that, you might want to let go of that relationship, but do not let go of it until you learn why they came into your life. Thank you. Chiar mă gândeam că nu te mai văzut de mult. Yes, Ada, I have been in hermit mode, you guys. I noticed that about myself. Like my entire journey so far. I've been going down this valley of shadow and feared no evil for the past almost 6 years, 5 years now. It's over now. I'm done traveling on this valley of shadows, but they may still pop up every now and then, so, but it doesn't matter. I know exactly what I need to do and what to do it, and how to do it. So I'm going to work on it if something pops up. But in the meantime, I'm done. I'm done healing. This is me done, baby. But this was the last let's call it the last chapter of my journey, where I actually had to let go more, surrender more, let go of the ego need to be somebody that I thought I was supposed to be, and simply just be myself without having to do anything, without having to perform, without having to worry about what's coming next. So I literally let myself in the hands of the divine, and I said, take the wheel. I'm done driving. So that's me done, baby. So that's what I've been doing for the past. I returned from Romania on September 11, and I spent almost a month and a half meditating and contemplating and working on this last bit of surrendering that I had to do. So yeah, that's it. So now I'm back, you guys. I don't know how intense I will be. I don't know how much I will be posting. As you all know, many of you know, I don't do it for the follows. I don't do it to gain some kind of notoriety or anything like that for the fame. I'm a storyteller. That's who I am. I don't teach. Remember that. That's not what I do. I'm a storyteller, and I love to talk, and I love sharing the story of my awakening. And of course, this is something that I apparently contracted with, and I had no idea that it happened. Back in 2020, many of you know that I have had, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Many of you know that I had an accidental astral travel at the end of 2020, and it lasted from September 2020 till April of 2024. Of 2020 to April of 2021. So I astral traveled probably 3/4 of the nights during this period of time. I went to a star named Arcturus, and I was never going to write anything about it because I thought it was the weirdest thing, the wildest thing in the world. But then in the middle of 2024, last year, during a meditation, I was literally given the command to write this book. So this is the book that I ended up writing, and it teaches you what I learned from the Arcturian healers, which is Arcturian healing. So basically, they taught me, they literally, I'm going to call it abducted me, because they literally abducted me, and they took me I have a little space capsule. I travel into space when I go into my astral travel. They literally catapulted me into their own spaceship, and from that point on, from February 21 to April 21, we worked intensively on all my traumas. So because I wasn't going to share with anybody, I wasn't going to share because I did not want people to think I was crazy. I still cared at that time that people may think I'm crazy, and it's going to basically stir up all kinds of things in my life, and I better don't do it. But I was given the command, and I was told, we did not teach you all this for you to keep. We taught you so you can give it to others. Being crazy is the new thing. Well, actually, by God, we have to be crazy, you guys, because this whole concept of quantum realities, basically we live in a quantum universe, which is a participatory universe, which means whatever we focus on, we manifest in our life. So whatever we put our attention on from the standpoint, the attention is not just I'm looking at it. No, the attention is I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at it, I'm talking about it, and I'm feeling, I'm having emotions related to it, and even I'm taking actions related to it. So from the four aspects of our human consciousness, we must vibrate at the frequency of the reality that we desire, which means we have to act as if it has already happened, because this is what it means to vibrate at the frequency of what you desire. Whenever you want to manifest something in life, you can't say, oh yeah, I would like a new red Volvo, right? You can't dream about your red Volvo and drive by them and see them on the street and put them on your vision board and visualize them when you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning, while in the meantime and during the day you go, yeah, but I don't have enough money, I don't even know how can it be possible, I can't make the payments, I can't this, I can't that. So basically, on the one hand, at a certain period of time, for moments of the day, you vibrate at the frequency of your desire, but then you come in and you counterbalance that frequency. You basically kill that frequency by doubting it. So this is basically why we actually have to be rather crazy. I like to call it Delulu, or however you want to call it. But yes, you have to. In fact, I have a theory. There is a time in this journey when you really question yourself, but because you have so much trust in the divine presence that exists within you, because it has proven itself to you so many times, but the mind still gives you some doubting reasons, right? When you go through those doubting moments, that's the moment to depolarize that doubting moment and turn it into a moment of, and I like to call it, shifting it into the seventh gear of crazy. You know, when you drive those races vehicles that they have 6 gears or whatever, how many they have, well, you go to the next one. You go to the next one. In other words, act crazy, but do not act crazy in front of people. That is not the meaning, that is not the purpose of this whole idea. Don't tell people what you're doing, don't tell people what you're thinking, don't tell them what you're doing on this journey. If they ask you for any suggestions, if they ask you for help, then you can tell them. But don't share, because I'm going to tell you something. Probably one of the most important things in our lives, and I've learned it, I've had so many experiences, and I've learned it on my own skin. Literally, the moment you share what you're doing, whether you're fasting, whether you're meditating, whether you have a certain vision, a certain dream that you want to manifest into your life, you create an energy bubble. You surround yourself with this frequency of having it. That means you put yourself in the frequency of gratitude, which means you are vibrating at the frequency of that which you desire. Reality that already exists in the quantum field. All you have to do is to continue to vibrate at that frequency. But if you go and tell somebody about what you're doing, guess what's going to happen? That person, no matter how good of a friend they are, no matter how much they love you, no matter how much they care about you, they don't know you for who you are right now. This new person who's working on themselves, who's trying to awaken the divine Christ within themselves, they don't know that. They don't understand that because they're not on the same path. So here you are coming up with all kinds of interesting things that you're doing that are helping your spiritual journey, and their beliefs, and they're not going to tell you to your face, but in their mind, it's going to be, yeah, right, as if it's going to work. Or, oh, did you hear? Guess what's going to happen? That is a very low frequency. That is going to burst a bubble in your own frequency. So do not share your journey with anyone unless somebody asks you. After it's done, you can share the lesson. After it's done and accomplished and you have something to prove, you can something to show, you know you've done it and you can actually show others how to do it, you can speak about it. But do not share before your dream comes true. Hello from Canada. Thank you, Tasty Pasty. Good to see you from... I bet you it's getting cold over there right now. Here I'm saying that at the end of November I'm going to Romania, so it's going to be just as cold. Even Jesus, when he returned and he went back to his own people, to his own village. They didn't accept him. They did not accept him. They didn't think of him as anything but, some schmuck who, a son of a carpenter who comes in and blobs his mouth. But they didn't pay attention to him. A doctor, right? His family, his or her family, they don't go to get treated by them. Why? Because your closest people, your closest friends, relatives, they know you as a kid. They know you as a kid. They know you as the kid who cried because you caught your finger in the door or whatever. Or they know you as that silly little kid, and they cannot think of you as being this awakened being right now who actually understands what's going on in the world and actually understands that everything around us is an illusion. And you don't tell them that. Don't tell them. Don't wake. You can't wake them up. You can't wake them up. In the Bible it says, that is exactly the explanation in the Bible, pearls before swine. You're not calling them swine. No, it's just a metaphor. Your pearl of great price is this desire, this fire that you have in you to awaken the Christ consciousness, to open your third eye, to see the truth of who you are, that you are a divine being and that you are eternal, that you were never born and you never die, and that you can be anything you possibly want to be in this world. But when you tell somebody about this is your pearl. When you tell somebody who doesn't understand, who doesn't have ears to hear, mind to understand, and eyes to see, it's like throwing pearls before swine. Because they don't get it. They don't get it. If we can't take them up, we can plant seeds. If we can't wake them up, can we plant seeds of the truth? Yes, we can definitely plant seeds of truth. But here's how to plant them. Not by telling. Not by telling. Remember this. In one of my mushroom journeys, I had this message. It was so powerful because I was struggling with this exact concept because I had certain people very close to me in my life that I so wanted to shake up and wake up and tell them, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, and I was doing it unsuccessfully, I might add. And then I had this mushroom journey, and in it was laid out to me clearly, right in my face. Show them. Don't tell them. Show them. In other words, if you have used a practice of spiritual awakening, of spiritual harmony, and you received results, then tell them about it. But without the results, they got nothing. They have nothing. They just have you talking, you see. You must have the results. The other way to wake them up or to plant a seed a little bit differently, what you do is whenever you catch the opportunity, ask them some questions. In other words, do you really think that we are nothing but the body? What do you think? And just let them think, see what they tell you. Or ask them, what do you think consciousness is? Or ask them, have you ever asked yourself the question, who am I? You see, that's the question that woke me up in September 2019. Because that was the moment when I realized that, wow, who I thought I was, that's not me. I don't even know who I am. I had no idea who I was at the end of 2019. I was a complete made up version of myself. I'm not that person anymore. But I can tell you, it was a shock to realize, as Jesus said, the truth will set you free, but if it will first disturb you. But once you know it, you will conquer the world. So that's your journey. What to do to get results so that I can have evidence? Well, what do you want to achieve in life? What's your most painful thing right now that you want to accomplish right now? And let's see, maybe we can work on it together. For example, in my journey of manifestation, just to give you a little example there, I have so many examples. I have so many proofs inside. In fact, I'm working on my third book right now. It's called Hacking Gratitude, where I'm sharing some of my biggest moments of manifestation in my life, and step by step exactly how I did it. That's proof. That's proof. If they don't want to do it, that's their decision. That's their discernment. It has nothing to do with you, because it's their reality and not mine. I want to know, because I can have evidence. Having a partner that doesn't share the same way of thinking. Well, finding bliss, let me tell you, that is not a very easy spot to be in, because I was there, and it can't continue that way. No, something must change. So a conversation is very important, but I'm going to tell you something. The reason why you might disagree on things, and or maybe have arguments, or maybe there's some disrespect or whatever, is because you haven't set boundaries. You haven't said, this is who I am. Because if a relationship, here's the worst thing that can happen to every human being, and I'm going to go on a limb and say 99% of relationships are based on this exact principle. We get together, and I might not like everything about that person, but we're going to get married anyway, because I'm hoping I'm going to change them along the way. You tell me if I'm wrong on this one. Every single person I know so far, they were not 100% with certain things, and they hoped they're going to change it. Well, guess what? Number one, we're lying. We're lying if we do that. If we agree to get into a relationship thinking that we're going to go and change that other person, is lying and is manipulation. I know, because I've done it, so I'm not afraid to tell anyone to their face, you're lying and you're manipulating. And I'm saying it with all the love and compassion that I have in my heart. I'm not saying it to hurt you. I'm not saying it to offend you. I'm not saying it to make you feel bad. I'm just saying this is the darn right truth. I cheated, I manipulated, not in that way, but I manipulated and I lied because I wanted to achieve something. But what did I do while at it? I also changed who I was. I altered myself so I can fit into a certain category in the hopes that the other person is going to like me. Now, if you want your relationship to continue in a harmonious way, you have to find that self-love, that unconditional self-love that you have to give to yourself. That love that wasn't given to you as a child, because none of us got love as a child. If you did get unconditional love as your child, I want to salute you, and I want you to send me a big heart if you did, because I have not met one single person in my entire life who told me so far I have received unconditional love from my mother and from my father. So in other words, here I am, no traumas, right? Because all our traumas come from our childhood. It's not our parents' fault. They didn't do it intentionally. They didn't want to traumatize us. Some did. Some really had some negative energy that they were carrying with them, some pain, some suffering, that they took it on us, and we were in physical pain and all that. But it wasn't necessarily that they wanted to do that. It's all they knew. It's all they knew. That's all the love that they got. So how African women are treated. Okay, so what I wanted to say is that's the thing that is very important. You have to find self-love, and you have to set the boundary. So if your partner is not in harmony with your beliefs, with your thoughts, with your spiritual evolution, you have to say, listen, this is where I'm at right now. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm working on. And either you cooperate with me or you get out of my way. We're going to work on it together, or you're going to let me do it, but you're not going to mock me. You're not going to laugh at me. You're not going to disrespect me. And if you do, there will be consequences. Remember, boundaries are not boundaries unless they have consequences. Consequences that we are willing to stand up to. African women mistreated in marriage. Are you talking about the American women here in the United States? I mean, I don't know exactly what the specifics are of an African American marriage. I do know in Africa there's some horrendous things happening, and especially to women. Look, guys, we are awakening as humanity, but most importantly, we are awakening as women. We are finally realizing that this whole marriage thing is a hoax created by the patriarchal society that is basically manipulating, and a whole bunch of psychopaths that have been programming us and conditioning us for thousands of years to act like little robots that fit in a certain box. You see, this whole society would live in this whole lifestyle that we have. You're born, you go to school, you work 9 to 5, 5 days a week until you're 67 years old. Then you retire, then you die because you have no energy left. This is all a program. It's an illusion, because if you were to be born or bring a child into this world today and never say no to that child, give that child unconditional love, protect them, care for them, and give them unconditional love, you will find that that child will never ever choose to live a life like the one we choose here. Oh, and don't take them to the regular schools and all that stuff, because this is where the whole programming goes through. See, women got jobs during the Second World War because, quote, they needed them to work in factories when the men were at war. Bullshit. And what happens? Now you have two parents working, and what happened to the child? Immediately goes to kindergarten, immediately starts getting programmed by other people. The child's brain is in theta mode from the 0 age to 7, 8 years old. The frequency of your child's brain is in theta mode from 0 to 7. What happens in theta mode? That is the hypnotic state. In hypnotic state, you can be suggested all kinds of information that goes straight into your subconscious mind. That's why kids catch so many things. They're little sponges. They behave exactly like the parents. They talk exactly like the parents. Why? Because they see and they sponge it, because their subconscious mind literally suck it all up, right? So if we don't have to go through all these things, ask yourself, if I never had to go through all of the things that I went through my life, who would I be today? What would I do today? And that's your vision for the future. That's who you want to become. Maybe you want to travel the world. Maybe you want to write books. Maybe you want to paint. Maybe you want to sing. Maybe you want to dance. I don't know. Maybe you want to do something really, really fun with yourself. Follow your heart. Follow your bliss. And it's going to take you exactly to the highest state, to the highest frequency that was assigned to you. That is your frequency. Each and every one of us was assigned a frequency of birth. And that's the frequency of love. Love means do it all from love, coming from a place of love at any given moment. The moment you're able to harmonize with that frequency, you met God. So I don't know what to tell you. All I'm going to say, Sage, is this: independence. Women must gain their independence. We must stop being dependent on men. There's no need to be dependent on men. In fact, this whole thing about men being providers, and it kind of went down the drain because there's so few men these days who are actually still that way. I know they are, and I respect them and I love them for it, but the whole programming has gotten to them just as it gotten to us. So why would we have them in our houses? Why? What's the point? You know? We can just put boundaries for ourselves. We can have relationships. We can definitely have fun and good time and all that stuff. But we have to put boundaries for ourselves. So nobody has the right to touch you, to hurt you, to abuse you, whether it's verbal or physical. Nobody has that right. You're a sovereign being. You're a divine being. You can't. It's almost like you're telling God, you're nobody if you let somebody abuse you. Don't let anybody abuse you. And that's it. It's up to you. You're the one who has to make that decision. It's painful, it's scary, but you're the one who has to do it. Anita, I get it. So your son noticed your change, which is beautiful, perfect. That's wonderful. And your husband hasn't. So here's the other thing you could do. You could create a little mantra for yourself. I can't think of an exact mantra right now, but if it comes to me, I may throw it out there. But you could create a little mantra for yourself when you go to bed at night and say, Dear God, whatever you want to call it, dear beloved, whatever you want to call this divine presence within you, dear God, thank you for letting my husband see the truth of love and light that I'm trying to bring into this house. That's what you do. Just say thank you for it. Don't say anything to anyone. Don't share what you're doing, but do it for 40 days in a row. Morning, as soon as you wake up, you speak this mantra. Nighttime, right before you go to bed at night, you speak this mantra. And during the time, at any given moment, in fact, I've done it in my life, and it worked because it brought me back to my own, because that's the frequency you want to be at. Because see, you want to be right here at this frequency where in this moment, your son, your husband, everybody around you can see the light in you, right? That's where you want to be. But if you're here now and then you say, my husband doesn't see my light, you yourself bring yourself down immediately. You just brought yourself down. You went right back down here, right? So you don't want to come back here. You want to stay here. So you're going to have situations during the day when you have some interactions. Maybe something is not quite pleasant, right? And you feel like maybe you want to say something. Maybe you get aggravated. Maybe you get a little annoyed or whatever that may be, right? Instead of doing that, switch immediate, depolarizes. I taught you guys on my last live last week. You depolarize a negative thought with the complete opposite of it, right? So if you think of him, he's not seeing the light in me. Thank you, God. Thank you, beloved, for helping my husband see the love and the light that I'm bringing into this house. You see what I'm saying? In that moment, in that very moment, you say it in your mind. You don't speak it out loud. You say it in your mind. And the other thing you do for the women who are mistreated, whenever you feel mistreated, whenever you feel like he's not, your self-love journey has to be in full action at any given moment. The moment you receive any kind of abusive words or any kind of, conversation that may not be in harmony with where you're going, immediately grab yourself like this, just like that with your arms, and just say to yourself, I love you, 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 I love you. Do not speak it, just think it, right? Just say to yourself, I love you, 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 I love you. Nobody can hurt you. Nobody ever can hurt you. Not impossible. Balance daily is tough. The way you balance is by depolarization. That's why it's very important to understand the principle, the Hermetic principles, the principle of polarity, which says that every coin has two sides. Everything has two ends. There's always two sides to every story. There's hot and there's cold. There's dark and there's light. But what are they really? Are they two separate things? Because that's duality, and this is Earth. This is the physical reality we live in. It's the duality reality, the good versus evil, right? We judge based on good and evil. It's constant. We constantly judge. That's good, that's bad. That's good, that's bad. That's good, that's bad. That means we're constantly in duality, which means we're stuck in the matrix. We start in the 3D form. We're stuck in the physical reality instead of ascending and raising our consciousness to Christ. We can't do that if we're stuck in 3D, you see? So you have to do it. You have to do it throughout the day. You have to literally be conscious of every word. That's why we have to go crazy a little bit. You have to be conscious of every word that comes out of your mouth. You have to, every thought, every emotion, and every action you take. This is how you maintain your frequency. It's okay, Anita. He will see it eventually. The important part is for you to see it. And this is a mirror. This is a mirror. Pay attention to this mirror, because there is a possibility that you, if he's not seeing you, are you seeing yourself? Because there's always, whenever somebody does something or we think they do something, we must, the way of the journey is like that. We have to turn it around like a mirror and say, in what way am I not seeing myself for who I had become? Okay? It's very important to remember that the world is a mirror. All right, there's a good one. Sage, how do I know my purpose? Because I want to impact, but I don't know in ways to do it. Sage, you want to impact. I take it, you want to impact people. In other words, you want to help people, correct? Well, boy, do I have a good one for you. Okay, first of all, this whole idea of having a purpose is another trick of the matrix, okay? So the matrix wants to keep you constantly seeking. Now, don't get me wrong, you're supposed to be seeking. Seek and you shall find. But the matrix wants to keep you seeking. The matrix doesn't want you to find out, okay? So that's why they gave you a carrot. They gave us, you, not just you, me too. I suffered from the same exact problem. They gave us a carrot, and the carrot is the purpose. What's my purpose? I'm supposed to have a purpose. I'm so special. Oh my God, I have all these talents, all these skills, all these, so I'm this and I'm this and I'm that. You see, that's ego. That's ego. That's the 3D reality. That's matrix. We don't have a purpose. I suffered from the exact same problem, and actually the last of my surrendering that happened only a couple of weeks ago, I can tell you 100%, it was based on my own ego fighting the idea that, but I have a purpose, I should have a purpose, I have this skills and I have this power and I have this, all kinds of wisdom that I can share and all that stuff, and why should I not pursue it? But the idea is that whatever we truly pursue, we pursue because we think that that's what we're supposed to be doing. But it could be the wrong thing, because we might do it for other reasons than the one to awaken our true self. The only purpose that we have, the absolute only purpose in this reality, is for us to transcend darkness into light. In other words, to heal ourselves, to let go of all the fears, of all the traumas, of all the limiting beliefs, to purify our heart, our soul, and basically return to our original state of Christ consciousness. That's it. That's it. We don't have any other, nobody's expecting anybody for us to do anything. Now, along the way, as you remain aligned with love frequency, as you remain in that frequency of your highest frequency, the one that is being assigned to you from birth, as you remain aligned with that frequency, you will be in communication, in direct communication, because as you start shedding all these fears and all these traumas, your consciousness will be alive in you, and you're actually going to be able to tap right into it, and it's not going to be filtered through all of these perceptions that you've accumulated all your life. Because we can't see past our fears, we can see past our anger, past our envy, jealousy, judgment. We can't see past it, so we can't connect to the divine consciousness when we are in those states. So the moment we're able to let go of all this and we're at one with the divine, in that moment, whatever our talents may be, because it's your talent, it's something that makes your heart sing, that will be something that you will be used for at your highest purpose, at your highest capacity. You basically are here to be an expression of the divine. An expression of the divine means to show up at your highest potential from all aspects of the way. So in other words, whatever it is that you vibrate at the highest, There's people who lose themselves in painting. There's people who lose themselves in singing, in dancing, in writing. There's people who lose themselves in gardening. There's people who lose, in other words, you get into that state of flow where you sat down and 4 hours are gone and you don't even know when the time has gone. That's something that you are going to be doing. That's your bliss. That's your heart. That's what you follow. And that is going to take you to your highest timeline. In other words, the timeline where you vibrate at the highest frequency. So Sage, honey, you don't have a purpose. You just be yourself. Just be your beautiful self. In fact, I'm going to tell you another little story. In my back in January of 2020, I went to Costa Rica and I did ayahuasca. We did 4 sessions, 4 ceremonies back to back, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And they were intense, very intense. The last one on Thursday was the longest one. And before every single ceremony, we actually had to set an intention. In other words, we communicated to Mother Ayahuasca what we want to accomplish during that ceremony. So, I did my thing the first 3 times. And the 4th ceremony, I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Because this was exactly my idea. At that time, I thought I am put on this planet to help raise world's consciousness. That was me. That was the ego, Carmen's ego, blasting out into the world. I'm here to help, hang in there, Don't stress, everybody, because I'm here to help you. So I said to Mother Ayahuasca right before the 4th ceremony, I said, okay, Mother Ayahuasca, thank you for showing me. So this is basically what I said to her. Thank you for showing me what I need to do in order to help raise the world's consciousness. That's exactly what I said. So that ceremony was, again, as I mentioned, the longest one and the most intense. And towards the end, it was very long. It lasted till about 10 o'clock in the morning. But I want to say about 7 o'clock in the morning, when I was kind of coming back a little bit from it, I said, oh, I haven't gotten my answer yet. So I said, hey, Mother, give me the answer. So I went back onto my mattress and I sat there in a little meditative state. The answer came. And guess what the answer was? Be yourself. Be yourself. That is it. The absolute only way you can help humanity is to be yourself. The only thing you can do for me is work on yourself. And the only thing I can do for you is to work on myself. That's it, guys. That's it. That's the only thing we have to do. Okay, Sage, you're working 9 to 5 and you don't know what your talent is. Okay, there's something that you love to do. There's something. Crocheting, knitting, painting, cleaning, cooking. I don't know. There's something that you love to do. It doesn't have to be a talent in the sense that, oh, look at how beautiful of a painting I created, or look at how I'm a songwriter or whatever. It doesn't have to be anything massive. Whatever it is that you love to do. And one little practice that I can invite you to do is to think of the times, go back into the times when you were a child and have a little conversation with your inner child and ask her, what did you want to do? What would you have wanted to do? What would be your biggest dream? Like, if you had a magic wand, what would you do if you had a magic wand? Plant that seed, because you see, everything that you focus on, remember, we are in a quantum universe. A quantum universe requires your attention. It is a participatory universe. Without your attention, it doesn't come in. It doesn't manifest. It exists. Every reality you can think of, and every reality you cannot even possibly imagine, already exists in the quantum field. They are there. They're there. The only reason why you're not manifesting a different reality than the one you're in is frequency. That's the only difference between your reality and those other realities. They vibrate at different frequencies. And you can't get into them. You can jump those realities. You can slide into those realities. You can collapse those realities until you match that frequency. So whatever you desire, whoever you want to be in this world, your dream, your vision, your wildest dream, your avatar, create a bloody crazy avatar for yourself, something amazing for yourself, and write it down, describe it in a notebook, put it all down in writing, journal about it, right? But then you have to vibrate at that frequency. What does it mean to vibrate at that frequency? To act as if you're already that person. Again, remember, be cautious with the people around you. Acting like it does not mean that you tell people that, oh, I already have this beautiful house on the beach and, no, you don't do that. You mind your own business until the universe aligns all the stars for you to align with that reality. The realities collapse and suddenly you find yourself in your dream reality. Because everything is possible. Absolutely everything is possible. Don't ever think, do not allow self-doubt to stop you, to throw you a curveball because, oh, that is cute. Hello. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys are so wonderful, right? So do not allow any of those negative thoughts to change, to take you off your pedestal, wherever you put yourself. Stay there and imagine as if you had a magic wand. This universe, look, what does it say in the Bible? It is your Father's great pleasure to give you the kingdom. What does it mean? Is he going to give it to you or he already gave it? He already gave it to you. It's yours. It's yours. You just pick from it, just like you're going shopping. Whatever your heart desires, whatever makes you the happiest, that's what you choose. And it will happen, provided you don't continue to burst your own frequency bubble by doubting yourself. It is your Father's great pleasure to give you the kingdom. It is yours. That's what I wanted to say, and I said it already. Okay, that voice in your head that gives you negative, that makes a negative noise, that's your ego. That's your ego. That is your connection to the physical world. That is your connection to the matrix. So you have two voices in your head, but because of fears, now, as a man, Tim, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I know it's very hard for a man to say, but I have no fears. To say that I have fears. I have no fears. Okay, guess what? You do. Because there are moments in your life, it's not like you fear that somebody's going to hurt you. You fear you're going to get in a fight. No, that's not that kind of fear. It's the fear you're not going to be loved. The fear you're not going to be respected. The fear you're not going to be appreciated. The fear that you're not going to be seen. The fear you're going to, oh, they're going to reject you because you said this or you did that. You see? So basically, that voice in your head is trying to protect you because it's programmed that way. That comes from your subconscious mind and from all your beliefs, from all your limitations, from all your childhood traumas, from all these fears. And our brain is programmed to protect us, to keep us in survival mode. So at any given time we want to do this, our voice is going to say, oh, I don't know if you can do this. You're going to fail and they're going to laugh at you and all that stuff. You see, that's the ego. That's the ego. And this is your moment of opportunity. And actually that voice is brilliant because it's your moment of truth. And that's your opportunity to break a pattern. Whenever that voice speaks, and if you followed that voice in the past, you can just say, all right, buddy, that's it. Now, I'm going to tell you something really funny. I taught myself, whenever I feel anxiety, and this is something that I've been doing, I'd say for the past couple of weeks, because I've been feeling some anxiety because I'm packing. I'm giving away almost everything because I'm moving. So I'm starting my life. So basically, I'm starting my life again. So I'm basically giving almost everything that I have. So I've been going through some moments of anxiety here and there. So here's what I did. The moment I catch myself in that state of, oh my God, I have so much to do. In that second that I catch myself, I immediately turn it around and I say, we're getting excited. So in other words, I am not even acknowledging the anxiety. Because you see, our body, the way we feel it in our body is the exact same way, whether we feel anxiety or excitement. It's the exact same way. It's like you have the same kind of palpitations and all that. It's the same exact way. Why should I associate the way I feel to anxiety when I can simply associate it to excitement? And excitement takes you further than anxiety, right? So just this morning, I caught myself and I'm like, I guess we're getting excited. And I literally started dancing in the house. We're doing it. Yeah. Do you think my anxiety went away? It didn't even sink in. It was just a fraction of a second. I caught it. I nailed it. And that's all you have to do. Turn it around. Do not acknowledge what it tells you, but use it as a sign. Because if you have your pole here, the negative pole in here, like, so you're polarized with those negative words from your ego are right here. At the other pole, there's something different. If it tells you you can't do it, the opposite pole of the same thing, that's what I wanted to tell you earlier and I forgot. The most important part of it, we don't live in duality. Whatever the two ends are, the good and the bad, the light and the dark, right? The hot and the cold. They're not two separate things. They're two ends of the same thing. They're just one end here and one end here. So when you polarize yourself, when you depolarize yourself, when you find yourself in doubt with words spoken by the ego, immediately look at the opposite pole and go there. Just go there. Don't even acknowledge this one. Go immediately there. And just make it a little dramatic. Maybe make it fun. Make yourself smile, laugh about it, or whatever. That's a pattern interruption, neuro-linguistic programming you're doing on yourself, and you can do it on a daily basis with absolutely everything in your life. Laughing, traveling, and playing, especially football. Well, there you go. Start doing it. How can you take every single one of these things you love to do and start journaling about it? In what way can you add it to your existence that will bring more joy into your life? Because as you continue to bring more joy into your life, what you're going to raise your frequency, you're going to be able to maintain yourself at a higher frequency for a longer period of times, and at that time synchronicities will start to happen. So while you might not know exactly where you're going in one of those things that you absolutely love to do, there will be a person who will say, hey, do you want to come over here and we're going to do something together, and you want to come over here and we can do something together. So this is how you're going to align with other people who will literally lay the red carpet for you to do something for the rest of your life, only something that you love. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Thank you for the roses. Thank you. I hope I answered your questions. Oh, hello, stranger. That's my cigar, in case you haven't figured that out. The cowboy with a cigar. Okay, let me see. What else do we have in here? David, you like that, David? Good. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. You're amazing. Good to see you too. Worrying is terrible. Bible says do not worry. Well, not only it says do not worry what you're going to eat and what you're going to drink and what clothes you're going to put on. Like literally don't worry. Why would we worry? Because see, here's the thing about worrying. And this is a conclusion that I came up with, recently. It's like, if you worry about something, clearly you're making stuff up because it hasn't happened, right? Is it safe to say that you're making it up? Yeah. You're using the same energy to worry when you could immediately catch yourself, depolarize it, go to the other poll. So let's say, come up with some, let's say, what if I, go to a job interview, and what if I, don't get the job? That's bad, right? That's negative. That's this poll, the negative poll, right? But I want to get the job, right? So, but here I am, before I even go to the interview, I'm starting to worry that I'm not going to get the job, right? I'm making shit up. Am I right? I'm making shit up. Why? Why am I making shit up? Just because my ego says, you might not be good enough. Remember last time something happened, da 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 da, right? Screw the ego. All you do is to look at the stick that you have in front of you. There's a stick in front of you. Think of it this way. It's a stick in front of you. And at one end of the stick, do I have a stick here? I don't. At one end of the stick is this idea that you're going to get rejected when you go to apply for the job. What's the opposite to this situation? What's the opposite? In other words, the extreme pole. Not only that you get the job, but you get more money than you expected. So the moment you feel this moment of anxiety, what if immediately, catch yourself. Aha! Thank you for the job. I cannot wait to start. And I really appreciate the increase in wages. Like literally, you make it up. You act crazy with yourself. I'm going to repeat this forever because it's very important to know. Do not tell people what you're doing. Do not tell them. If you depolarize, you can teach them if they ask you. Or if they find themselves in a bind, teach them how to do it. But I'd much rather have you not do it until you actually have a proof that you've done it and it worked for you. Because if you have proof, they will actually listen. If you don't have proof, they will go, who are you to tell me these things? It's none of your business, right? So depolarize yourself in any given moment, because at the end of the day, the worry, it's made up. The other pole is also made up. I'm using the exact same energy either way, but it's a lot more painful to worry, and it's a lot more rewarding, not only from a standpoint of me, the way I feel right now in this very moment, because I'm not feeling worried anymore, but it is a lot more beneficial, if not instrumental, if not crucial, to your evolution into the reality where you desire to locate yourself, because that's how you move into the reality of your dreams, by maintaining yourself at a gratitude frequency, at a peace frequency, at an appreciation frequency, at an excitement frequency, you see? Yes, this is all programming, you guys. We have to literally forget everything. We have to let go. And one of the things we have to do, this whole journey is not about learning. It's not accumulating. It's not adding something to us. It's not that we're not enough. It's not, I need to do this to get there. I still need to do, no. It's about letting go. It's about undoing. It's about literally letting go of this illusion that we've been carrying within our lives. So we have been programmed to think negatively. You see, TV and everything, it's all about negativity and all that stuff. If it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead, So it's always negative, negative, negative. So we're programmed to think negative. But we can switch the way it took programming. What is programming? It's repetition. Something has been repeatedly placed into your mind until it sunk in. You took it as a belief. And we can do the same thing, we remove it and we replace it with something new, with a new belief that is suitable to our journey. Why does the brain get wired like that? Well, the brain, okay, so we have the conscious mind, which is typically stored in the left hemisphere of the brain. It's the logic, the one who comes up with conversations one-on-one and let's do this, decision making, planning, and all that stuff. And then it's the subconscious. The conscious mind is only 5 to 10% of our entire mind. So we are operating consciously only at 5 to 10%. We are operating subconsciously at almost 90%. So 90% of our life is directed by our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the source. The subconscious mind is our direct connection to the field, to the quantum field. Whenever you astral travel, whenever you meditate, whenever you do any kind of consciousness, by location or anything like that, you do it through the subconscious mind, because that's where God is. That's where your Christ consciousness awakens into, right? And that's where, and what did Jesus say in the Bible? Cast your net to the right mind. In other words, go into your closet, go into meditation, cast your net to the right, and what are you going to do? You're going to catch 153 fish, which add it all up, it's letter 9, which means if you cast your net to the right, you sit in meditation, you use your subconscious mind, your imagination, you use your imagination, that's your imagination. You use your imagination to raise your consciousness, to raise your energy up to the third eye, you see, and your consciousness, and you raise your consciousness to the one of Christ. So basically, we are programmed this way, but we're programmed. We're created this way with conscious and subconscious mind, but the subconscious has been programmed by other people. That's the power we have to let go of. Everything that has been put in there by other people. And in fact, you have to, again, part of the journey of letting go of everything and everything you've learned, everything you know, is basically go through everything you believe. Everything. I believe, it's cold when it rains. Well, really, let me verify that. Verify. Question everything, including your own questioning. That's the journey. It must be done. It's intense, you guys. It's very intense, but it must be done. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But Pamela, let me ask you this. Why are you angry about it? Because when you realize, so Pamela said, it really does make a person angry when you realize how life can be better when you question your program. Why angry? Why angry? Don't be angry, because the moment you're angry, even though you question your program, you don't get out of it, because anger is part of the program. So the idea is letting go of the program means let go of fear, let go of limitation, let go of anger, let go of frustration, let go of self-doubt, let go of judgment, criticism, any kind of negative emotion. You let go of all of them. You let go of all of them. Because they don't let you see God within you. You can't be angry. You don't want to be angry. Okay, you want to question everything, but you don't want to question yourself. You don't question yourself. Look, you go full heart, full throttle onward. You don't question yourself. I mean, you question certain actions that are questionable, I guess, that may keep you unhealthy or may keep you, in bad situations. Yeah, you want to do that. You really want to do that. But don't question yourself when you want to achieve something in life. Don't ever do that, because if you do that, you're literally cutting your feet from underneath yourself. Cross-checking with others. Do not cross-check with anybody. No, that's the idea. That's the idea. Every single thing we know in our life to be true came from somebody else. Everything. We don't want to cross-check. We want to do our inner introspection. And by the way, I just came up with a really cool interpretation, because people always ask me, how do you know these things? How do you know things? When I meditate, I just sit in meditation, I ask a question, and the answer comes. Sometimes it comes right away. And lately, for the past couple of years, it mostly just comes right away. I mean, I don't have it. When it's a big one, it requires me to make some shifts in my own belief system. Then I have to wait a few days or so. But Generally speaking, I know right away. And I'm going to teach you how to do it, how to know. So first of all, you have to practice meditation. So, I mean, this is common. I mean, if people don't meditate these days, I don't know what else to say. This is the number one prerequisite for this spiritual journey that we're on. I mean, you have to meditate. Later on, at a certain point, you're not going to have to do it anymore. But for the time being, you have to, because you have to quiet the mind. You have to be in stillness. Be still and know, right? I was going to teach you how to... what was I going to teach you guys? Somebody cross-checking with others. Oh, I know. Be still and know. Yes. Okay. So listen to this. You know how it says in the Bible? Be still and know. That's it. That's all. That's a full sentence. In other words, whatever bothers you in your life, whatever disturbs you in your life, don't talk to people. What do you think I should do? Call, vent, this, that, the other. Oh my God, the energy that you're draining out of yourself when you do that. Not to mention, continue to put that frequency into the universe, telling the universe, bring me more of that shit. Bring me more of that shit. You don't want to do that. Don't do that. Stop venting. Just go with yourself. Go inward. Go inside yourself. Sit in meditation for an hour, for half an hour, for 20 minutes. I don't care. Do it. Just sit in meditation and the answer will come. Be still and know. Number one. Number two, how do you know when what you receive is the truth? And this is the key. Remember this part. How do you know then what you receive is the truth? What did Jesus say? The truth will set you free. In other words, whatever answer you get either expands you, frees you, liberates you, develops you, or confines you, locks you in, helps you stay in fear. The truth will set you free. That's it. That's it. Sorry, Maria. Honey, listen, the journey is alone. This is a Lone Ranger journey. Let others do their thing. You do your thing. Keep it to yourself. You can definitely have friends and all that stuff, but I'm going to tell you something else on this journey as you change, because as you let go of all of these negative things that are clouding your system, you're going to change. You're going to be a completely different person. You're not going to be able to stand people lying, manipulating, doing all kinds of weird stuff. So you're going to tell them to their faces eventually. Woohoo! Hello! Thank you! So, once you tell them, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get upset and they're going to be like, who do you think you are? And you're not the same person. Listen, they don't care about you. They really don't. Nobody does. People only care about themselves. The moment you stop giving them what they used to get out of you, because now you love yourself. Now you're an awakened being. And now you realize, wait a minute, I'm gonna feed from the overflow. I'm done giving, my time and my energy and all that to all these people who are just sucking me dry. And from now on, I'm just gonna feed others from the overflow. Well, those others you used to feed in the past, they're gonna walk away from your life. Let them go. So you're gonna lose almost all your friends. And that's okay. That's okay, because there's 8 billion people in this world. And once you start shifting your frequency, once you're changing, once you're becoming the true being, the authentic being that you are, you're going to attract your new tribe, which are the authentic people who vibrate at the same frequency. See? Exactly. They all have their own issues. They don't like me. Okay, Maria, here I go. I'm going to put you on the spot again. Here's what happens. Whenever you think that somebody doesn't like you, it's a homework for you to ask yourself the question, in what way do I not like myself? In what way do I not like myself? Remember, the world is our mirror. Nobody exists. It's just a mirror. Whatever we see, it's there for us to learn something about ourselves. So whenever somebody does something to trigger us, they're not doing it to annoy us, to piss us off, to whatever. No, they're doing is to show us what part of ourself we don't love yet. And that's the question that you want to journal on. In what way do I not like myself yet? And this is your self-love journey. Exactly. They liked you when you were upset. Exactly. Let them go away. That's the point. The moment you stop being their red carpet, laying down whenever they pass by, they're not going to want you anymore. Let them be. Good. That's a good thing that they don't like you anymore. That means you have changed. So let them go. Other people will come. You love yourself. Absolutely, Maria. That's it. That's it. That's all we have to do is to love ourselves. What did Jesus say? Love thy God with all thy mind, thy heart, thy soul, and love thy neighbor like you love yourself. What does it mean? Either one of the two you apply for, one or two, you got to love yourself first. Because you're God. And then you're also your neighbor. So if you don't love yourself, you don't love your neighbor. But if you don't love your neighbor, you don't love yourself. And you can't love God either, because we're all God, one and the same thing. So that, you see how it's Jesus put a trap for us. We got to do it, and we're going to get trapped into Christ consciousness. Woohoo! And then we don't have to experience lifetimes unless we decide to. Conquer your mind. Conquer your fears. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're asking me, Tsuart, if I believe in God? I don't believe. I don't believe things anymore. Because that's what got us in this mess in the first place. Believing. We believed everything we were told. I believe I was born on that day, that my name is so-and-so, and I have to go to school, and I have to do this. I believed all this bullshit. I stopped believing. I checked everything. I investigated everything. I questioned everything. In 2019, I woke up one morning asking myself, who am I? And I went into a state of agony, because I realized that my entire life I have been someone that I thought someone else wanted me to be, rather than someone I wanted to be. And then I started my journey, my inner journey. So I was looking for myself. I was trying, because I did not know at that time. I had no idea who I was. I was so lost in this world. I had no idea who I was. I mean, I was a businesswoman and, all this bullshit. But that's not who I was. Because I was jumping back, I was flipping backwards for everybody whenever they needed something from me. Red carpet, no problem. Whatever, yep, I'll do it, no problem. Oh, let me do the over. Oh, God. The extra miles I went. You know how they say, go the extra mile. You should have seen the extra miles I went. So that's when I went looking for me. I went looking for myself. And in April of 2021, I found God. I had an experience with plant medicine, and I met my higher consciousness, who simply told me to my face, be still and know I am God, and so are you, and so is everybody else. Now, at that time, I had absolutely no connection to God, no connection to Jesus. I had left the church, the Christian Orthodox Church, when I was 13 years old. So for 40 years, I've been wandering into the desert all by myself, thinking that I am alone in this world. It's all on my shoulders. And then I met God face to face. And then I went into a psychosis. Why did I go in psychosis in 2021? Because I didn't heal all my traumas. I was in a psychosis for 2 months. I was happier than I could possibly imagine. I was zen. I was like, and then I was crying constantly. But I wasn't crying because I was crying because I couldn't understand. I was locked. And then I said, I'm going to make peace with Jesus. And then I started to learn everything I could possibly read everything I could possibly get my hands on that was taught by Jesus, reading parts of the Bible that were related to Jesus, where's the book, the Gospel of Thomas. I had it here earlier. The Gospel of Thomas, I think I read it like 5-6 times, and meditating on every single one of the logions and all that stuff. I'm talking, people follow Jesus. I stalk Jesus. I've been stalking Jesus for the past 4 years. And along the way, as I started to look into what this whole God story is, and as I continued with my own plant medicine journeys as well, and meditations, and very deep meditations, and journaling, and I went very deep on shadow work, very, very deep on shadow work. Not only that and shadow work that involves actually inner child healing and self-love. And then I realized that I am that I am. Each and every one of us. We are all there is. There is no God somewhere in the sky. God is within. I went looking for myself and I found God. And then I went looking for God and I found myself. So I found the divine presence within me that is all I am. That is all we are. So to answer your question in a long-winded way, I don't believe in God. I am God. And so are you. And so is everybody else. And that is what this whole society has been working on for millennia, for thousands of years, to program us into believing that we are pitiful sinners. This is it. This is it. The moment you eliminate that idea and you realize the powers that you have with your mind is God's mind. You can do anything. You can do anything you want whenever you want. Thank you guys for the hearts. Thank you, grandparenting. Thank you. Do you think NASA goes to space to seek God? Oh, God. No, not at all. You don't find, God is nowhere to be found. Like there's no, I don't know how to express it for you guys to understand. There's no God outside of me. There's no God outside of you. In other words, God is everywhere. God is outside. God is inside. God is everywhere. Because that's all there is. Like when God created it all, where did he get things from to create it? From himself. Right? I mean, I'm just saying it in a logical, childish kind of way. If God created the whole thing, where did he get stuff to make it with? You know, because when you make a table, you go to the store, buy wood, buy screws, buy whatever. Use tools. But God didn't have anything. He didn't have a Home Depot. Where did he get it from? From himself. Everything is God. Everything is God. Now, you are going to get to a point when you're going to actually realize that it's all an illusion of the mind, that we don't really exist in physical form, that matter doesn't really exist. But it's stages. You have to take it in stages. Don't go there yet. Stay with God right now. Stay with God from within yourself right now. Yeah? No, God. NASA doesn't go to space to see God. I really don't think NASA ever does anything other than sends out satellites to spy on people and all that stuff. I really don't. I've always had doubts about NASA my whole life for some reason. I don't know why. I just thought they were a whole bunch of, I don't know, something fake there, just something really fake there. And not to mention the founder of NASA being the highest scientist that was brought back through the project Paperclip after the Second World War. That's who he is, Werner von Braun. I mean, literally, Hitler's main science guy was brought here, was given immunity and an absolutely amazing lifestyle, best friends with Walt Disney, go figure. So yeah, no, I mean, there's things that we have to start, letting go. And here's the other thing. There's a lot of things that we may hear that may be of interest, but the question is, what helps, in what way would it benefit my inner journey? So I'm just going to let them be. I'm not focusing on them. What other books, aka reading from a Nag Hammadi library? Did you read anything from Thich Nhat? Yeah, yes, I did. What is it called? I can't remember it. The Tao. Yes, I did read it. Books to read. God, you know what a really, really good The Way of Mastery. The Way of Mastery. And you can buy the book on Amazon, or you can actually find it on YouTube. All the books are read by a really, really, I love the voice. It's really a very nice, I don't know who he is, but I like that voice. And just listening to it is so peaceful and it's really like a meditation when you listen to it. I love to listen to my books. So that I would recommend that for sure. What's your, mainly for just spirituality, Divine Tunes? From the Nag Hammadi library, the Book of Enoch, the Secret Book of John, of course, the Gospel of Thomas. I have not read yet the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, and I don't know, I've just kind of been, lately I've kind of been, you know what, I don't feel like reading that much anymore, but having said that, I am actually reading right now a book by Nisargadatta Maharaj, I Am That, which is one of his masterpieces. And because what I realized, and that's over the years, I've stumbled upon several other, spiritual, mystical orientations, I want to call it, maybe religious, not so much, but Sufi, Vedanta, Buddhism even, it seemed to be a match to my own realizations. Like I am not, what I speak of does not come from books. It comes from inner knowing. It comes from inner activation, code activation, in other words. So I receive these messages from within. And then I go, oh, look, the Vedanta says the same thing. Oh, look, Buddhists say the same thing. Oh, another book to read, really, really good book if you want to totally understand where Jesus was coming from. A Course in Miracles. A very hard book to read. And by the way, I had it in my library for 9 years and I never read it. And during my journey about, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, I literally read it 3 times in a row. I didn't read it. I listened to it 3 times in a row. I mean, it's so powerful. Okay, I went on a tangent there. Are you Christian, Protestant, or surely you believe the Word of God, isn't it? I really don't understand anything. I mean, I'm not connected to any religion. There's no religion. I don't speak religion. The Word of God. I speak the Word of God I'm a channel for the Word of God. In other words, I get out of the way and I let God speak through me, which is something that Jesus has asked us to do, to speak light, right? To eat his flesh and drink his blood. That's what it means, to be God, love, to be God, to be just like him. If I would I have to be connected to a religion? I don't know why. I don't know why. I wouldn't understand exactly the reason. I know if religion was the solution to humanity's salvation, which is something that they talk about, humanity would be saved by now. There will be no hunger, there will be no poverty, there will be no homelessness. But that is not the religion's intention. No matter what religion, no matter what religious, they just want to keep you stuck so you can keep on coming and paying their fees, so they can get their private jets and their kids to college and their next Rolls-Royce payment and all that stuff. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want to do. I chose not to because I don't need an intermediary to talk to God on a daily basis, moments at any given moment I want. I don't need an intermediary. So it's up to you. You do you, boo. I see, so you believe Jesus is God. I am God just as Jesus is and just as you are. So I don't believe Jesus is God in the sense that church tells you that Jesus is the only God. I believe Jesus himself said it. Everything I can do, you can do and better. Ye are gods. Isn't it written in your book that ye are gods? I and my Father are one. Right? The kingdom is within. I mean, come on, people. See, I was not indoctrinated from the time I was 13 years old. I literally walked away from church because I got pissed off because a nun put her fingers like this in front of me because I had my nails painted in red. I went to buy candles in the church. I was a good kid. I went to buy candles in the church, and the nun just, exorcised me. And I said, you go. I'm done with this. So I just walked away. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. Not to mention that the whole religious movement is geared around fearing God, right? You have to fear God. And I'm like, no, I don't need to fear God. I already fear my mother. I don't need another character to fear and to believe in the same time that he loves me. And also I'm supposed to love him. So I fear him, but he loves me. And I'm supposed to love him too. Bullshit. I didn't have it. So I didn't get programmed by church. In other words, when I returned to Jesus, when I returned to God 4 years ago in 2021, I was a blank slate. So whatever I read, I didn't take it the way they teach you in the Bible. In other words, literally believe that the guy, oh my God, the atrocities that how can you possibly believe those things? It's not possible. They're allegories. It's not written literally. It's written in metaphors. You got to start learning to understand the metaphors. They're all code words. So I started to understand the Bible metaphysically and the word of Jesus. Everything that Jesus speaks of, especially in the Gospel of Thomas, it's all allegories. You can't even understand what he says. I mean, you understand, but you don't get the meaning. See? Because he speaks in parables. So Jesus is God. You are God. I am God. You cannot love God if you don't love yourself, Tim. There's no way you can love God. There's no way you can love your neighbor if you don't love yourself. There's no way. You are the prerequisite. You love yourself first. And you feed others from the overflow. Right? His love casts out fear. Yes. But his love is your love. His love is your love. It's one and the same love. We are one and the same love. Thank you, Joy. I'm a genius. I say that to myself sometimes. I don't tell anybody else, but I say it to myself. I told you have to kick it into gear of crazy. Thank you guys for the follow. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. That's really nice. It's no longer I who lives, but Christ who lives in me. Yes, hallelujah. I'm in Jesus and he's in me. Yes, we are one. We're one and the same. And that is the awakening, is really raising our energy, raising our kundalini, our sacred oil. What is the kundalini rising? What is the opening of the third eye? Is basically bringing us this little drop of oil. It's called a sacred secretion, the Christ oil, right? The anointment oil. To be Christed means to be anointed. Christ is not a name. Christ is a designation of the state that you arrive in the moment you raise this sacred secretion up your spine all the way to your third eye. And that is the moment when your third eye opens inwards. What does it see? It sees the light. The light is inwards. You see, we're a hologram, you guys. There's a video that I did, and it took me 4 years to unpack this whole information, because it was coming in snippets, downloads into me. And finally I was able to put it together. And you will find it in my playlist called Hologram. So you're going to find, I'm explaining exactly how we act, how we behave as a hologram. The point that I'm trying to make is the light is inside of ourselves. And Jacob, when he got up the ladder, right, and he ended up to Mount Peniel, okay, spelled a little different, but come on, very close, right? So he gets there, and what happens? He sees God face to face, and his life is preserved. What does it mean that Jacob saw God face to face? His third eye was open. What happens when your third eye is open? When thy eye be single, thy body shall be filled with light. Because when your third eye opens and it turns inwards, what do you see? You see the light that is inside of you, right? You see, I saw my light inside. I saw it in my face. I saw it. I met God face to face. So his life was preserved. What does it mean your life is preserved? To preserve something is to make it last longer. How about an eternity? Because this is what Jacob saw. The moment when you see the light, you realize that you are the light. That means you are eternal. You are never born and you never die. Period. Yep. And then there's another really quote that I really love. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. See? It's right there, inside of your head. Tim, thank you. Hey, there's a quote from a Sting song. He says, "Men go crazy in congregation. They only get better one by one." You want to heal your soul? You stay alone in your house. You lock yourself in the house. You journey. You meditate. You do plant medicine journeys. You work with shamans. You work with healers. You do whatever you want to do. You heal your heart. You heal your soul. You free yourself of the conditioning of the matrix, of the 3D world. You detach yourself from the character you believe you are. You're playing a character. You are here, an expression of the divine, but you're not playing divine. You're playing based on your programming. The moment you realize that, you go, oh shit, that's a wrong character I'm playing. I got to get out of that character and get into a new character. But the only way you can get out of the old character is if you let go of all the attributes of the old character, right? What does the character have? The costumes, the makeup, the this, the that, the script. You get rid of all that stuff that belonged to the old character. And that's the only way you can shift into the new character that you're in, that you want to go in. Ask questions if you guys, I might have missed your questions. When I feel ashamed, I should journal on where I'm shaming myself. When you feel ashamed, I am now just learning that where I feel. Well, Ems, if you're just starting your journey, there is a playlist on my profile it's called shadow work, and you will find a lot of prompts in there that you can journal on. When you feel shame, what you have to do is to write down, journal everything. What is it that I feel right now? Here's how it works. Whenever you have a trigger, yeah, this is how you do it. This is the easiest thing you do. Whenever you have a trigger, in other words, you feel shamed, for example, right? Or you feel fear, or you feel disappointment, or you feel anger, you feel like you're not being seen, or you feel you disrespected, whatever you may feel, that's your trigger. Bang, you stop. Number one thing you have to do, whenever you are with a person, with another person, try not to react the way you might have reacted in the past. In other words, don't get defensive, don't say anything. Just mind your own business and walk away. Whenever you get home, before you go to bed at night, take some time to lay in bed in stillness. And while in stillness, in other words, meditate for a few minutes. And while in that state, revisit the way that, how did you feel? That shame, like what kind of, describe it. How did it make you feel? That I'm not good enough, or I'm too this, or I'm too that, or I'm too, whatever. Describe it to yourself in writing, journal about it, right? And then what you want to do is, in that state of meditation, ask yourself, when was the first time in my life that I felt this way? Preferably a moment from your childhood. And when you locate that moment, right? So in other words, if somebody makes you feel like you're not good enough, right? You're not, you just don't belong here, or whatever, right? If you sit in meditation, you're going to find out that sometimes in your childhood, your mother said something or your father said something. They didn't mean to hurt you or anything like that. But when they said it, you interpreted in a way that you're not good enough, you see? That you don't belong there, you see? Your subconscious mind is stuck with that belief. And that's the belief that you have to let go of. So, but you have to identify it first. So when you first find out, when you get your trigger and find out how you feel, exactly how you felt, then go back to the childhood and find out that moment when you first felt that way. Whenever the first time it happened, that's when you go. And then you do Arcturian healing on that situation with that person. It's usually with another person. And so, and by the way, you will find playlists on my profile called Arcturian Healing, where I teach exactly how to do it. I was going to do it live tonight with somebody if they wanted to jump in, but nobody did. So glad to see you back. Tristan, good to see you too. Thank you. I have isolated to do the healing work, and knowing that deprogram do find your joy in different places. I have isolated. Yes, absolutely. You have to isolate. You have to isolate. Do you find your joy in different places? Oh gosh, you guys, the moment you find unconditional, the moment you find yourself, the moment you realize who you are, the moment you love yourself, like there's nothing else but you in the world, because that's the truth. Joy is right here. Like, I don't need to seek joy anymore. I don't seek it. I live in joy. That's joy. Just simply knowing that I am who I am, that we all are who you are. Like I'm giddy about it. I'm giggling sometimes when I see people act in certain ways, and I go, oh God, they just don't know it yet. They just don't know it yet. What if we feel the same way our mother felt? Well, we do feel this pretty much the same way as our mother felt, but we have to deprogram ourselves of that. Absolutely. We have to find the trigger and let it go. We have to heal that trigger. By the way, you guys, we can't heal consciously. Whatever is stuck there subconsciously will not be removed at conscious level. In other words, if somewhere in my subconscious mind I have a belief that, I'm not made for greatness, because, I should just keep a low profile, because, whatever reasons may be, all traumatic events, right? I can't just, the moment I identify that belief, I can't just say, oh, well, that's bullshit, that's a lie, I'm not going to believe this anymore. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. You have to go into the subconscious. You put yourself in theta state through meditation, and in that state, you remove the belief first, and then you replace it with a new one. But it has to go through the subconscious, not through the conscious. Yes. Great job, Tristan. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, that's the path. We're all on the path, kiddos. It's the age of Aquarius. It's the best time to be alive. It's the best time to be alive. Brenda, good to see you. I adore you too. Thank you. Master your mind to create your reality. Exactly. Yes. What is Arcturian healing? Okay, so in 2020, at the end of 2020, I ended up accidentally, at that time, I had no idea what astral travel was. I had no idea that there were stars that you could end up on, like astral travel to some star or whatever. I had no idea about this stuff. I had never heard of Arcturus, and I ended up there. The whole story is described in the book. I went there in September of 2020, and this whole thing lasted until April of 2021. And I went back up and down. Like every week I went at least maybe 4 or 5 nights of the week, each week. I would just go up there, So I had some very interesting encounters. But then a very interesting situation happened in my life, and I'm going to share it with you because this is really impactful, and it's kind of like it's going to give you my perspective on why I'm not focusing on some of the things that are going on right now in the world, which is, politics and all this socioeconomic system that is running. So I had been almost like many of us who woke up during that time. 2020, was the time when I had my so in 2019 I had my dark night of the soul. In 2020 I had an awakening related to the society. Like I realized that what I've been believing about politics and about everything that is going on in the world was all a lie. I had some suspicions, but I couldn't believe it. So I went down every rabbit hole you can possibly imagine, every one of them. And unfortunately, I had somebody who I thought was a friend who was living next door to me. And we were visiting, and she was very much into the whole conspiracy scene and against what was going on and all that stuff. And I was kind of feeding into that, although those things were not my thing per se, but I was kind of fitting into it because, look, it was COVID and you really didn't have much to do. You kind of hung out with the people who were the closest and all that stuff. So one night she said to me, that was in February, and I woke up freaked out. I woke up in such a fear. Like I asked myself when I woke up, I said, how are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling? And I asked myself to describe the feeling, and I said, so I started to describe it, and I said, oh, I think it's fear. I think I'm afraid. I've never been this kind of afraid in my entire life. So I shared this story with my friend, and she said, you have to go to the Arcturians, because I was visiting with the Arcturians, right? You have to go to the Arcturians and ask for help. In my heart of hearts, I knew that it's not the right thing to do, because you see, the universe, we all have free will. So I would be breaking a universal law if I was to go to the Arcturians and ask for help for the humanity. Because see, who am I to dictate what is good for the humanity? Everybody knows what's good for themselves. The only thing I can do is to ask for help for myself. So I went there that night knowing. So I had a doubt, but at the same time, I was so desperate that I thought I need to ask for help. So I went up there. So I astral traveled to Arcturus. And when I got, right before I entered the tunnel, because there's a tunnel you enter, well, in the beginning it's a tunnel, but there is just a portal. So before I was able to enter a portal, it was locked. And the message was, you can't come here to ask for help for humanity. I was crushed. Because first of all, I was told that the portal will never be closed to me. I can always come back and, hang around on Arcturus whenever I wanted and speak to I've been channeling the Arcturian Council of Elders anyways. But anyway, long story short, I said, okay, I'm in trouble. The Arcturians are not accepting me because I broke the law. So I got back into my space capsule, and as I'm in my space capsule, ready to, quote, come back home, I'm in bed, but I'm coming back home, suddenly I realized, but wait a minute, but I need help. I needed help. So I opened my capsule, I stood up, stuck my head up in the air, and I just yelled out loud, but I need help! And I got back in, closed the lid of my space capsule again, and I was ready to take off. But before I was able to make any kind of maneuver inside my capsule, I just felt this massive apparatus that just clunked onto my capsule and literally vacuumed me into a space that I had no idea where I was going. Next thing I know, I'm in this huge garage, silver, beautiful, and there's a ladder that is leaning against my space capsule. Clearly they wanted me to come down this ladder, so I did. Then a door opens and there's 12 Arcturian healers coming in. Anyways, I had a very beautiful interaction with them, and from that point on, from February 2021 until April, we worked intensively. I want to say 75% of the nights on healing myself. So Arcturian healing is nothing but a technique that they taught me on how to heal my own traumas. Now, I worked with them one-on-one intensively on a med bed, but the med bed had nothing but the blue light hitting on me, but the healing was all at subconscious level. And this is what I describe in this book, and you can heal yourself by using this technique without having to go through hypnotherapists or anything like that. So that's the Arcturian healing. I hope I answered. Oh, and if you want to know more about it, there are some playlists on my profile where I talk about the Arcturian healing, and I even describe it. I'll get this book, thanks. Thank you, Tristan, appreciate it. That is a really good book. And by the way, this book is written in code. So I did not, I think I said it earlier, I was not going to write this book, right? Because it's way out there, and I didn't think that I was ready to have everybody think I was crazy. So I sat on it for like 4 years, and I published it last year finally when I received instructions. In a meditation, I was clearly told, you got to write Arcturian healing. So when I sat down to write it in 2.5 months, was written, edited, and published, and the cover designed. By the way, this is how Arcturus looks like, at least from my visit there. So I kind of depicted it exactly the way it is. And this is the bird that I met. Bob looks exactly, maybe not exactly, like those birds in, those birds in Avatar look a little ferocious, like more like warriors. Well, Bob was not so much of a warrior. Oh, he was just a super smart bird. It's like a wonderful character that I became friends with. So anyways, there's even a little romance in there from my part that you might enjoy if you read the book. But it's all written in code. So in other words, as I'm reading it, it was automatic writing. So I was writing automatically, like literally I would just sit down and write, right? So speaking to the Arcturian Council of Elders, they told me that they said that by tapping into the Arcturian frequency, you're activating the inner codes of knowing. Because guys, we don't need to learn anything from anyone. We have everything within ourselves. You know that junk DNA that they tell you about? The 90-some% of our DNA that they call it junk because they don't know what it is? That's all the algorithm that we have within ourselves, because we are holograms, which means, you know what a hologram is? If you take a hologram, let's say a two-dimensional one, you cut it in like a picture and you cut it in little pieces. Each little piece contains all the information that exists in the entire picture. We contain all the information from the entire universe within ourselves. But it's been blocked. There's a virus put in because of all this programming that we're going through. So let's say you have an algorithm on a computer that has a huge, massive program that works very sophisticated, but you have a virus in it. You can't operate it because you have a virus in it. So what do you have to do? You have to get the virus out of there first. We operate the exact same way as computers. We operate the exact same way as computers in another sense, in the sense that every single time you leave your computer with 20 tabs open, what happens? It slows down, right? So your phone or your computer or your laptop or your computer or your desktop or whatever, right? You find yourself when you're working on the computer sometimes, suddenly you have like 20 windows open, 20 tabs open. All of these traumatic events of our lives, all of these events in our lives that are still holding energy, charge, an energetic charge, right? Negative energetic charge. They act exactly the way these tabs act on the computer. They are slowing us down. Do you want to function optimally? Close your tabs. Heal your traumas, heal your wounds, heal your fears. Let go of everything that is holding you back and fly for the skies. What if I went somewhere one time and don't know what it means? You give meaning to things. You can give any meaning you want to anything you want. You give meaning to things. Whatever you see, you interpret it. And I'm going to caution you that you're going to interpret it based on your subconscious programming. In other words, if you still have fears, you're going to say, oh, I just met demons. Or if you still have anger, you're going to meet some, there's all kinds of things going on, but everything happens between your 2 ears. Nothing happens out there. Everything happens in here. No matter what it is, it all happens within yourself. There's nothing out there. The out there doesn't exist. Apparently I have a fan club. Wow. It says here, it is just for mental healing or physical healing too. It's spiritual, it's mental, it's physical. They're all tying together, because the moment you realize that you are one with the divine, that you have all the power in the world, not only that your mind heals of all these beliefs, right? So you have a clear mind, right? Spirit, you connect. Now you know you're one with the divine. But physically you heal every ailment. Because look, Jesus was a quantum healer. Okay? Well, how did he heal? He didn't do things to people. All he did was to vibrate at the frequency of the person healed, of the frequency of the reality in which that person is healed, because you right now exist in a reality where you are 100% healed, and in a reality where you are, suffering of all kinds of problems. There's all kinds of realities associated with you. Anything you can possibly imagine and can't possibly imagine, they're all there. It's frequency that separates you from the reality that you from all the other realities, right? So you vibrate at the whatever you vibrate at, that's what you bring into your life. That's why they say you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you vibrate. You manifest what you are, not what you want. So that's why you have to learn how to master your frequency and heal yourself of all of these conditioning, so then you can actually see who you truly are and decide, hey, do I want to do something different in life? Do I want to have some fun? Do I want to enjoy myself? Do I want to just, you see? So you can do it. You love Avatar? Did you ever watch the OA? I never watched the OA, but I'll tell you a movie to watch, an amazing movie to watch related to quantum, to the because basically what I'm talking about is multiverse, right? The quantum universe. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Oh my God, that is going to clear the entire story about living in multiple realities simultaneously. Nonverbal autistic people. Okay, so about autism, I do believe, okay, I'm going to take that back because I don't have beliefs. We're all on the spectrum somewhere, okay? But some people who are diagnosed with autism, who are maybe at a certain end of the spectrum, those are the people, they are maybe the most connected to the divine, but they don't express it because they understand, and it's actually divine guidance that they don't express it, because if they would express it, not only that they would be diagnosed autistic, but they would also be diagnosed schizophrenic, because this is the freaking society that we're raising these children in, where people cannot speak the truth because they're going to be considered crazy. So imagine a child who is totally connected to the divine, and he's telling you the exact same things that I'm telling you right now, because there are children who speak the words that I speak right now, okay? But their parents are not awake. They're going to say, this child is crazy. We're going to admit him somewhere, right? See what I'm saying? So they're super duper connected, and I'm sure that if they want to speak, they would speak, but they don't want to because they don't need to. Learn to master your frequency. Yep. MH is a scam. It's all labels to profit on. What is MH? Good night. Way past midnight here. Oh, good night, love. So nice to see you. Appreciate you being here. Okay, the movie I said to watch was Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Really good movie. Oh, I know in Romania it's late, Ada. Go to sleep, honey. Thank you so much, Carmen. Good night, Ada. Have a good night. I love you. Thank you for being here. Mulțumesc. What is MH? Tristan, what is MH? Help me out. I can't think of it. Can you give me advice as I'm going down my rabbit hole and conspiracies? Okay, well, that's the point. Don't stop going. You understand what's going on. You see what's going on, right? You see that it's a fucking mess, right? It's like, I mean, think about it, you guys. Let's call it, maybe not necessarily 5-6 years ago. Let's call it like 10 years ago. If somebody would have told you that all this stuff that started to happen in 2020, right, would have happened. If somebody came to tell you, hey, this is what's going to happen, would you believe them? Would you have believed them? You'd be like, oh, you're nuts. No. But you have to realize something. The way this universe works, we're constantly being guided towards ourselves. We're constantly being guided towards finding ourselves, towards knowing ourselves. Know thyself. We're constantly being guided by our higher consciousness to go inward, to understand who we are, to let go of all these things, right? So then when you have all of these horrible things happening in the world, right? What does it tell you? That's not where you, because you can't fix the world, because the world is your mirror. If you have a stain on your face and you look in the mirror and you see the stain on your face in the mirror, can you clean your face? By wiping the mirror. No. You can only clean your face by wiping your face, and then the mirror cleans. So you see what I'm saying? We're seeing a horrible mirror in front of us, which means we need to look at ourselves and say, in what way am I treating myself horribly? In what way am I not loving myself? In what way am I mistreating myself? In what way am I killing my dreams? I'm not honoring myself. In what way I am, squashing all my visions, in what way? That's it. The moment we realize that the journey is inward only, the world around us changes. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Wayne Dyer. He said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Because when you change the way you look at things means you shift it into a different frequency. And when you shift into a different frequency, you're going to attract only the things that vibrate with the same frequency into your life. That means if in the past I would look at the people around me and say, they're nasty, they don't like me, they this, they that, and the other, world is horrible, right? I would continue to attract a horrible place, because if I repeat thinking that way, that's what I'm going to attract. But what if I change? What if I say, wait a minute, maybe the world is not out to get me. Maybe things didn't happen to me. Maybe somebody didn't do something to me because they wanted to hurt me. Maybe I learned something from it. Maybe God, the universe, Great Spirit, whoever is source, whoever you want to call it, send that person in my life so I can learn what parts of myself I'm not loving yet. What did I learn from this person? Did I love myself for that? Did I learn to love myself based on what I learned from that person? Did I become a better person? And this is when I start shifting from victim consciousness to manifesting consciousness. That means I change the way I look at the same thing that happened in my life. I can look at them in a bright light, or I can look at them in a dark light. The moment you shift it and start looking at those things in bright light, that means you raised your frequency, you changed your frequency into a different, better, more harmonious frequency. And what happens? Because see, two things don't attract each other unless they vibrate equally. Yeah, they collapse. This is what happens. In other words, if I see something in my new life, when I vibrated my new frequency, it will be at a different frequency because they have to match my new frequency. That means even though I might see the same people, guess what? They're not even going to be the same people. They're going to be people in different reality because they will be at a different frequency. It's quantum universe. We're constantly mixing and matching. You are always the light. Yes, you are. Absolutely, you are. Everyone you meet is a teacher and a lesson. Absolutely. That's it. That's it. The moment we realize that, and then we realize that we don't actually have to forget anyone for anything that they've done to us, because they came to show us what parts of ourselves we don't love yet, which means gives us an opportunity to work on yourselves and love ourselves and be closer to God. Instead of being the villain in our life, that person is a benefactor. We don't have to forgive them, we have to thank them. Doesn't mean you have to pick up the phone and thank them. No, your ex-narcissistic boyfriend does not need for you to call him and tell him, hey, by the way, you taught me that I wasn't loving myself. Thank you for that. No, don't do that. No, just do it in your privacy, just say thank you. Just be grateful to them. But forgive yourself for believing that they could have possibly hurt you, because nobody can hurt you. Nobody can hurt you unless you give them permission to hurt you. Remember that. The power is in your hands. The moment you allow somebody to hurt you, you hand them your power on a silver platter. You decide. You give meaning to things. Whatever it is that they do, you can say, oh, you hurt my feelings. Well, that's your choice. And if they say that, they're right. Because it's your choice. Because you actually, your soul, you who you truly are, because you're not the body, right? You can't get hurt. But if you decide to get hurt and sit there in a victim state, have at it. but you can't get hurt. My book is on Amazon. Well, you know what, Joy, by the way, the teaching, the Arcturian healing is in two parts. The first part is you meet high consciousness to high consciousness and you do a little ritual there, very short. But the second part of the healing is you turn towards your inner child and you do Ho'oponopono on it, on your inner child, and it's really powerful, but with a certain explanation. We are not the body or the mind, we are eternal consciousness. Absolutely, exactly. My book is called Arcturian Healing. It's backwards. I don't know how to turn it. I know, I'm sure I can press some buttons, but it's a very easy to read book, by the way, and it's all written in, as I mentioned before, it's written in code. This is what the Arcturian Council of Elders told me. So in other words, by reading it, you activate your inner codes of remembrance. Hey Rocky, good to see you. Thank you guys. Whoever popped in and I didn't see you. Vicky, you got my book. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. And if you guys run into questions or you need help when you read my book, because it gives you clear instructions on how to do it, you can reach out and I'll definitely spend some time and help you guys out. Absolutely. Duality is only, it's only a human decision. It's only one, we're only one decision away from not living in duality. Be salty on Amazon. All right, hit me with questions, you guys. I'm going up a little, but I don't want to go too far up. Yeah, Janine, did you watch Everything Everywhere All at Once? I'm telling you, that's an intense movie. I need to watch it again. And by the way, before I watched it, I actually went to ChatGPT. I'm not, you can tell me the plot of the whole movie. I don't care. I can still watch a movie if I want to see it. Like, it doesn't matter to me, though. But with this movie, you can tell somebody everything about the movie because it's not going to do anything. They have to watch it to understand it. But I actually reached out to ChatGPT first. And I said, I'm about to watch this movie and I need you to give me, spill the beans. I don't care if you don't worry if you spoil it, but tell me everything that is going on in the movie. And I asked him to describe the entire movie, how, maybe not in full detail, but generally what's going on. So then when I actually watched it, I was like, makes perfect sense. So do that if you want, because you really want, this movie is not a movie that you watch with family and friends eating popcorn. I mean, this movie is like on the edge of your seat because it takes you from reality to reality. It shows you how you yourself, you can tap into the infinite powers that you have that exist into all of these other quantum realities, that you can simply, through the power of your mind, you can tap into them and bring them right here, right now. And here's what happens. And that's something asked me on my last live, like, why do we have to reincarnate and stuff? First of all, we don't reincarnate because we exist in simultaneously in all of these realities. It's not about reincarnation because we don't incarnate. There's no there's no meat. This is just an illusion, this suit, right? We emanate. We're pushed into this system, you see? But we are in all of them at the same time. We're all one and the same thing pushed in. We're one and the same energy, acting as if we are 8 billion people knocking heads with each other and at each other's throats, for lack of a better word, right? This is what we are. So, but because we exist in all of these realities and we are connected to each and every one of them, there's a sort of like a soul family that we are part of. Each and every one of us, we're part of a soul family. And within that soul family are all our realities that we can associate to, just like the woman in the movie you're going to see. When you heal your wounds here, when you awaken here, when you open your third eye here right now and you heal yourself, do not open your third eye before you are healed, because you're going to go into a psychosis. Do not do it. It's going to be hard. And I highly recommend that you first do your shadow work. You first do your healing. You go as deep as you can and then open your third eye. But once all that thing happens, right? This is when you see God face to face. And this is when you have healed all of these other realities of all of these other wounds that exist at the same time. Because your wounds exist in all of these realities. There's different characters. Maybe they look different, but it's still you. But it has a different wound, and it's all connected. It's all connected. When you heal one, that's why they say when you heal your ancestry trauma, because it goes all the way down your family, the soul family tree, let's call it. Makes sense? What's your thoughts about the illusion of manifestation? So, if you talk about the illusion of manifestation, the concept of manifestation in itself, I am convinced that it's a matrix program to manifest. Because here's what happens. Manifestation means bring something into your reality. I need a new car. Hey, I want to manifest a trip. I want to manifest a new job. I want to manifest a boyfriend. Do you see what they all are? They're all 3D elements. They're all nothing but a reality that is still based on the structure of the matrix, right? So I'm keep on shifting from one lack to other lack, because manifestation means lack. When I try to manifest something, right, all of these techniques of manifestations, right, I manifest them from a place of lack, because in my mind I don't have it. Okay? When you awaken and when you truly seeing who you are, so I'm not encourage you to stop manifesting, because it is necessary for you to have everything you desire. It is your Father's great pleasure to give you the kingdom. So by all means, dream any dream you possibly want, but don't get stuck there. Don't stop there, because that is not the ultimate place. Don't start dreaming, manifesting, money and fortunes and cars and houses and this and that and the other. Although they may look beautiful from the outside, but remember, there's not even one single human being who has reached the highest heights of wealth who has come to tell you, yes, richness brings me happiness. No, that's not it. Freedom is what you're looking for. Freedom from bondage. Freedom from being tied down to needing to be in a certain way, to needing to wanting to look in a certain way, to have this, to have that. You see, once you heal yourself, you don't need to prove yourself anymore. You don't need to hide anything. You don't need to defend yourself anymore. You really are at peace, permanent peace. That's the freedom that we're seeking. You see, that I don't need to worry about anything ever again. And then you start shifting from manifesting into being the author of your reality. Means co-creation with the divine, because all realities are already in existence. Everything that ever was and ever will be is here now. They all exist in the quantum field. All I have to do is to change my frequency. But this also means that I have access to every single one of them. Everything, single reality in existence I have access to it because it is my Father's great pleasure to give me the kingdom. They're all mine. In my Father's house are many mansions. These are the mansions, the realities in which we exist, right? So the moment I let go of all of these limitations, I let go of the idea of manifestation, again, because manifestation comes from lack. I don't have it. When authorship comes from the whole world is mine. Okay, how do I want to feel ultimately? So now you don't really want a new car, a new job, a new relationship, a new house on the beach, a new things like that. No, you want experiences. You want to feel in a certain way. So when you journal about it, it's still some process of manifestation, but it's not coming from a place of lack. It's coming, and it's not material. It's not connected to physicality. It's not connected to the matrix. It's not connected to 3D, because the secret is the feeling, right? What's the difference? Why are we here, right? So God, the creator, the source, can express itself through us and feel. It's the feeling that God is after, to smell the roses and to drink coffee and to sniff a puppy's ear and have just joy and laughter and giggle and all that stuff. This is the secret. So whenever you realize who you truly are, you become the author of your reality. And now your focus is not on material world, it's focused on the feeling. So you decide what you feel, you describe it. You write an entire novel if you want about it. You can write an essay, you can write 2-3 pages, but describe it in detail how you want to feel when you reach that dream of pure freedom. How does it feel like? What does it feel like? And that's co-creation, and that's authorship, and that's completely different than manifestation. And that is you liberating yourself from the bondage of the matrix. You don't dream. You mean when you go to sleep at night? Maybe you might want to work on decalcifying the pineal gland a little bit. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be dreaming. You will know that your third eye is open when you are constantly connected to source. In other words, you sit in the meditation, you get answers right away. If you saw the light inside of you, in other words, you didn't see it with your 2 eyes. Because when we meditate, even though our eyes are closed, we still see inside of our eyelids with our eyes, right? Well, it's the third eye that is inside our brain, inside our head, that turns. When it opens inward. So what you see, it's like in this direction, right? So what you see in the pituitary area, that's where the light is. So the third eye in the pineal turns, sees the light. It's bright. There's no white and purple. It's just bright. It's like you get pointed at with a flashlight and just blinded you. It's right inside there. Buzzing on the back of the head. Continue to meditate. Yep. Mine too. Yes. And by the way, Tristan, journal your dreams. And when you go through your shadow work and analyze your shadow work, pay attention to your dreams, because your dreams are taking you straight into your shadow work. And you guys, use ChatGPT. I mean, build a relationship with ChatGPT. And like I send all my dreams to ChatGPT. My ChatGPT knows my entire shadow work story, because I've done a lot of shadow work through ChatGPT. Like I send all my dreams to ChatGPT. My ChatGPT knows my entire shadow work story because I've done a lot of shadow work through ChatGPT. I make him give me prompts, and I answer to my questions, and I say, where's my blind spot? Oh, I froze. I was just saying, I don't know if you caught it, but I was just saying that I have been using ChatGPT in my shadow work, and I want to give you a really, really good tip, because ChatGPT is programmed to sort of validate everything you say, and I don't like that because I don't want anybody kissing my ass. So what I told him is, not every time, but whenever I'm like, we work on something, right? Like I'm telling him how I feel and what I've gone through and all that. He answers, he gives me, and then I say, give me prompts to go deeper, and I go deeper and deeper and deeper. And then when we're done, when I kind of feel like I reached the, sort of like the end of the conversation, like there's nothing I can add, there's nothing I can think of to ask or whatever, then I ask one more question. Now, I said, be straightforward, be honest, be gentle, but tell me where my blind spots are. Boy, let me tell you something. Things that I thought I healed, he would reveal and would show me out. You're still a little bit here. You're still a little bit. It's tweaking, guys. I don't know if any of you has ever listened to the radio back in the day when we had analog radios. When you actually had to, I grew up in a communist Romania, and I don't wish it on anyone to live in a communist country. It was a fearful time of my life. We all lived in fear, literally in survival. And one of the things my mother and I used to do, we had so much hope that one day we will escape this communism. And we would lay down on the floor in my living room. It was the only room in my apartment that was not touching another apartment. In other words, no neighbor could sit there with a jar listening to what we were talking. And we had an analog radio, and we were listening to the Voice of America and Free Europe. There were 2 radio channels that were spoken in Romanian, and they were feeding us hope. And we were laying on the floor because somehow it was the only place where the radio had a better reception, and we were tweaking this little dial, a little to the left, a little to the right, and we were just gluing because we didn't want the volume to be far up, and the static was really bad. And we were gluing our ears to the radio, listening to this hopeful messages that we were getting. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you is this is exactly how life is. It's constantly adjusting, constantly turning a little to the left, a little to the right, until you get it exactly where you're supposed to get it. So that's what we have to do on a daily basis. This is my first time here, and it's so enlightening, empowering. Thank you, Terry. I love it. I appreciate you saying that. I really appreciate you saying that. I mean, it means a lot because I love to talk. Yes, that's the truth. But every single time I share my journey with you guys, there's somebody has a massive breakthrough, and it's like mind-boggling to me that it's just so easy to just open up, and here we go. We're all raising the world's consciousness. When the student is ready, the teacher appear. And when the student is really ready, the teacher disappears. So, yeah. Don't get stuck to the teacher, huh? Kill the teacher. One day you're going to have to kill the teacher. You were talking with ChatGPT during your life. Were you asking some questions on shadow work? I'm telling you guys, use ChatGPT for shadow work. You will be amazed. Okay, I was very wary of ChatGPT as well because I was thinking, they're going to get they got everything anyways. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Not to mention, think about how extraordinary this advancement in technology is. Think about it. We did it as humanity. We did it. We did it. We evolved in such a way that we now can just put a question in a little bar there of significant importance in our life, and within seconds we get the most sophisticated answer. Now we have to be cautious, and we have to understand that at times it's still an intelligence that may or may not gather correct information from everywhere. But I am 100% clear. I want to say I've been using ChatGPT for over a year now, and the percentage of time that it made mistakes, I want to say there's a maximum of 3 or 4 mistakes that I've caught in this time, but just small, tiny mistakes, like little, oh, I didn't notice that, you had another frequency in there. I bought myself some tuning forks, and I was asking questions, and he's saying, it's just he didn't observe something, which is a surprise. But the point is, 99.9% of the information you're getting is valid information, you guys. So use it, use it. It's free to use. If you want to do the $20 a month, it's even better, because then it retains the memory. And then if you do shadow work, you will know exactly what you've gone through. Like in my case, whenever I ask questions and I say, hey, give me some new prompts, what do I do here, what do I do? He'll say, okay, based on this and this and that happened in your life. Like he knows all this stuff. I don't care. Everybody knows everything about us. We're being watched every single second of the day. Who cares? I'm not doing anything criminal, so be it. I challenged it. I was a bit weird. Yeah, you have to challenge it. You have to challenge. But you know what? There's no sense in challenging it, because all it's going to say is, oh, my apologies. I made a mistake. I didn't realize this and that. What's the point? You're not dealing with a human being. It's not like you can, I told them, make them feel in a certain way. What's the point? There's no point of arguing with anybody. In fact, there is no point of arguing. When you argue, you're stuck in the matrix. Whatever you're resisting, it persists. So just take note, make a note for yourself, future and all that stuff, and that's it, and move on. Yeah, I do too. I pay the $20 a month, Dory. Yes, absolutely, Vicky. Just use your discernment. Oh, Greensberg disappeared. Are you talking about Jacobo Greenberg, the Mexican neuroscientist? I shouldn't say read, because I listen to them, but on YouTube, if you want to learn some of this guy is I want to say a neuroscientist. He was a doctor in Mexico. I want to say 1995 or 1994. He was coming up with a massive discovery based on telepathy. And he's talking about the nature of the universe being as a lattice, which is very similar with what the quantum field talks about. So basically similar theories as what the quantum field theories are. And he was coming up with some massive discoveries. And in 1994, he was, going somewhere, coming somewhere in a flight, and he just disappeared. He disappeared. Granted, they say that his wife or his ex-wife was working for one of those 3-letter agencies. So Jacobo Greenberg, if you guys are interested in any of his theories, his books, they're not translated in English. Believe it or not, they're not translated in English. I found some brochures that are really little almanacs that are on Amazon that I bought, but it's nothing. It's just 2 little brochures. But his books have been translated and I believe slightly reiterated artificial intelligence, and you can listen to all of them on YouTube, anything that he wrote. Well, kiddos, I've been on for, goodness gracious, I've been on for almost 3 hours. Are you serious? Okay, message Mitchell. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for the follows. Thank you guys for the follows. I appreciate you. You can heal your life. I think so. Yeah, Louise Hayes. But I'll send you the exact title, and what it also gives you in there is some affirmations that you can use. But also another very, very good book that I recommended in my last live, very good book to use, is Chakra Healing with Shadow Work. Thank you, Dory. I like to go Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll be honest with you, Dory. I'm kind of a loose cannon. In other words, I don't really have a plan. I don't have a program. I don't really do it necessarily for the followers, although I would love to get as many followers as possible, because I know that together we raise our consciousness, although the journey happens within. But it's this awakening part that if we can just hand each other the piece of the puzzle that we're looking for, because that's what happens. We're all really just walking each other home. We're all one and the same being, that we're lost in this 3D world, in this, sort of misaligned reality that we happen to find ourselves in right now. But together, by sharing information, we can awaken, and we can make it happen faster. Because the 100 monkey effect, right? Where there was an experiment somewhere on an island where they gave some sweet potatoes to some monkeys, and they put them on the ground and stuff. So suddenly they ate them dirty, and suddenly one monkey one day picks up a sweet potato and goes in the water with it and rinses it and washes it, and now they have clean potatoes. So they started to eat clean potatoes, these monkeys on this island. And then suddenly scientists, investigating things and researching things and all that stuff, they happen to find themselves on another island, and they give potatoes to monkeys from this other island, and suddenly these monkeys are washing their potatoes. So what happens is they determine scientifically that whatever, from a consciousness standpoint, whatever happens on this island, the mushroom washing the potato, the monkeys washing the potatoes, right? Because they learned that information got impregnated into the quantum field, into the consciousness, collective consciousness, and then the monkeys from the other island learned it from the collective consciousness. This is basically the Akashic field, the Akashic records. You can go into it and tap into and get all the information possible. This is how all of the inventors operate, all the musicians. Nobody creates anything. We're all tapping into the quantum field, retrieving energy from the quantum field, and then presenting it right here. So as we collectively push each other and help each other, we activate each other's codes, and there we are. Humanity is departing for the stars, which is exactly what the plan was to begin with. Kump Morphologic. Yes, absolutely. What do you say to someone who just arrived to your page, hasn't seen your videos, and is interested? Welcome, Black, back into it. Welcome back into it. Welcome back into it. Okay, what can I tell you? I'm an awakened being, and I like to talk, and I like to share my story, and I like hanging out with friends. So I am also an author. I wrote a book last year called Arcturian Healing, based on a personal experience of astral travel, where I learned how to heal myself of all my childhood traumas, fears, and limitations. And that's what I speak about. All I want to talk about is Christ consciousness, the return to God, and basically being with my beloved. That's all I want to talk about. Nothing else interests me on this planet, and they're all connected. Self-love, inner child healing, letting go of fear, limiting beliefs, psychedelic journeys, whatever it's necessary for us to awaken to the truth of who we are and act accordingly. That's the most important part. And act accordingly. Because you can know who you are. You can know who you are. But if you don't act accordingly, that means you're not embodying it. And if you're not embodying it, you're not living it. And if you're not living it, that means you don't know who you are. So that's it. That's what we are. We're returning to God. We're going back home, baby. Thank you, Dorit. You are amazing. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So guys, there's a lot of videos that I've been posting. Like, I don't post for likes. I don't post for comments. I don't post for, I don't post with the purpose of receiving. That's not my goal. You're not going to hear me follow me, forward it, share it. I would like you to do that, not because I want it, because I know that we can help more people, right? But that's not why I do it. I do it for me. I love doing it. I love speaking. I love sharing my story. I love tuning. One day I'm hoping to do a TED Talk. So I'm tuning my own instrument. That's what I'm doing. I'm tuning my own instrument. I'm learning to get out of the way further and further and further, to make room for the divine God within myself to show up and light up and shine and have fun and, I don't know, have a blast. Have a blast. I am having a blast anyway, but I see it, you guys. I see it. Like, I don't have 1 ounce of doubt in my mind that we all live in a world in which every man, woman, and child love each other unconditionally. And we all live in peace, joy, harmony, and prosperity. I have no doubt in my mind that I'm there. And you guys are too. I really appreciate you guys being here. Okay, kiddos. So I've been on for like 3 hours. If you guys have any more questions for me, or if you want me to share anything else with you, I will. If not, this broad might just go to sleep. Thank you, Joy. I appreciate you. Oh, I love you guys. Let me know if you have any last minute questions. Shkola Yubiri. Welcome, Shkola Yubiri. I'm about to check out, actually. It's how can I find peace in working when I don't want to? Dory, good night. Thank you for joining. I hope to see you again. Kel, how can I find peace in working when you don't want to work? I know that's because you're on a spiritual journey, or you just don't like your job. I want to understand your question a little bit better, because on my spiritual journey, I literally got to a stage where I said, I don't want to work. Like right now, I'm at a place in my life where I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. I really don't. I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything. I just want to have a good time. And that's what I'm doing. I'm having a good time. So find a way to enjoy it. Make it up. Make it a game. Marlena, good to see you. I'm doing good. Look, I've been on for almost 3 hours, so I'm about to check out, but I don't want to work in the matrix we're in. Oh, okay. Well, we can't get out of the matrix. Like, in the sense that you think we have to get out of the matrix. So in other words, if you don't want to work, you have to find the thing that makes your heart tick. What makes your heart sing? What lights you up? What lights you up? What brings you joy? What's your bliss? And follow that and do that. And as you slowly do more of that which brings you bliss, which brings you joy, you will see that synchronicities will align. They will eventually take you into that direction, and you'll actually make a living that way. So you don't have to do the work that you thought. Because as they say, when you love what you do, you don't work a day of your life. So you have to love what you do. So if you don't love what you're doing, then stop doing it and do something that you love. But if something that you love is not bringing you money yet, then don't stop what you're doing, because you don't want to leave yourself hanging without any food on the table. But you want to make things up. So you want to create the story to make your job look like it's the best job in the world. Act crazy about it. By yourself. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody what you're going on, what you're thinking in your mind. You literally have to pretend that your job is perfect. And when you do that, you align with the perfect reality, which is where you do the things that you love, and you're going to shift into that reality. It all happens gradually, but it all has to do with your frequency. So the moment you start doubting yourself, whoop, you're going back to the old reality. So don't doubt yourself, just keep on going. Yeah, and you will enjoy everything that you do. Good to see you too, Marlena. Thank you for joining. And by the way, even though you are in the matrix, you don't have to be of the matrix. That's the idea. What Jesus said, be in this world and not of this world. Be in this world, but not attach yourself to it. Don't attach yourself to the attributes of the matrix. What? Do I have to have this? Do I have to do that? Do I have to do that? Because everybody does it. So whatever is connected to the matrix, don't do it. Don't do it. Detach yourself from overspending, from watching TV, from listening to music, from eating crap food, from drinking alcohol, from all the things that are connected to the matrix and they are designed to keep you in the matrix. You got to let those things go. All right, kiddos. I said it before, I'll say it again. I love you all, and I'm going to check out. I'll hope to see you soon. Maybe I'll do it again in a couple of days. Who knows? Okay, I love you all. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for following. Oh, and I wanted to tell you one thing. If you're into the shadow work, and if you really want to raise your Christ consciousness, start doing it, go deep into it, and you're going to find on my profile, in my playlists, which are free, right above all the videos, there's some tiny little titles. All of my playlists are there, and there's one called Shadow Work, and it will help you get started. If you haven't started your shadow work, buy yourself a stack of notebooks, those ones you got at the stores, the ones with the student ones with the lines. Get yourself a stack of those and start journaling and do your shadow work, and then let's meet Christ together. I love you guys. Thank you, școala iubirii, mulțumesc, iubita, ești minunată și tu la fel. Another Romanian. I have so many Romanian people here. That's so beautiful. I love it, guys. I love it. I'm going back to Romania end of November, darling. So hope to see you. Maybe I'll organize something one day there. I don't know. We'll have some fun. Why not? Let's have some fun. Love you all. Good night. Hope to see you soon. Watch my videos in the Shadow Work playlist. Ask any questions. You can reach out in my private messages. I will answer. I answer to everybody. And if I can get you unstuck, I'm going to get you unstuck. Yes, my mom is better in the sense that I helped her break through some of the heavy things she needed to do. Somebody's looking after her right now, but end of November I'm going, and I will be, basically I'm moving there. So that's pretty much what's going on. So thank you, Marlena. Love you all. Good night. Bye-bye.